It was basic.
Hello and welcome back to Beach Hour. Today I am once again back in Mumbai, and most of the times I am yet proud and very glad to say that today also I am with something very special. In fact, this what you see behind me is more special than most of the cars that I have covered till now. What we have behind us is, of course, by the legendary iconic silhouette you can make out. I don't need to give you any introductions. This is the R33 Nissan Skyline. But this one is very unique, and in fact it's so unique that it's the only one of its kind in the entire country. So today I'm going to take you on a quick walk around of this car, and Chandresh bhai, who's the owner of this car, has agreed to give me a quick drive for you guys to experience how it feels inside an R33. And I'm also going to take you through why this car is unique and why this car is the one of its kind in the entire country. So to start off with, first of all, that gorgeous silhouette that this R32 has. It is probably one of the most beautiful JDM cars from this era. Now before we start, I want to give you a quick history lesson on the Skyline. Now the Skyline is a brand which has been out there for a very long time, so not a full history lesson. Of course, for that you can study and you can look up the details, but what I want to do is quickly let you know about a little bit of the car. So for example, the Nissan Skyline as a brand started back in 1957. In fact, the Skyline brand was not started by Nissan itself. It was actually started by this company called Prince Motor Corp, which was later merged with Nissan, and that is actually when the Skyline brand started. This over here, the R33, is the 9th generation, and the one before this, which was really important, was the R31, which started sometime in 1985 or 1986. The good part about the R31 was that was the car that actually has its silhouette and most of its resemblance with the current generation Nissans, the Nissan Skylines. The R31 was also the car which was the first to introduce four-wheel steering. It was also the first car to start with the RB series engine, and this over here is the generation next after that. So it was the R31, then the R32, then the R33, and then the one which we know from the Need for Speed era, the legendary and the iconic R34. Now this, the R33, I say, is one of its kind in the entire country, and I'm going to get to that very soon. But the R33 in itself, there are about 4 to 5 cars in the entire country, out of which I think 2 of them are in Mumbai and 1 or 2 of them are in Bangalore and other places. Now as it goes with most of these cars, they are very hidden, they are very secretive. Mostly the owners generally enjoy the cars very privately, they don't bring them out a lot, and I'm super happy that Chandresh has agreed to let me film this car and show it across to all you guys. Now with this particular generation, the R33, there were a few really good upgrades. For example, this was the car in which all the RB series engines that were used were all straight six-cylinder engines. There were 4 different variations in engines. There was the RB20, there was the RB25, the RB26, the legendary RB26, and then there was a 2.8 liter RBX as well. The first was the RB20, which is a very rare car that I don't think any of that car exists in India. This over here is the second engine, the RB25, which is insanely rare. This is probably the only Skyline R33 in the entire country that has the RB25 DET engine. The DET was the turbocharged. This is actually a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine which puts out close to about 280 to 290 horsepower. The horsepower figures on these cars purely depended on which country they were manufactured for. So this car which you see right over here in front of me is actually a Japanese import, which means this was close to about 280 270 horsepower from the factory. But as a lot of you might be knowing, there was a Japanese gentleman's agreement back in the day, back in the 80s and the 90s, where all of the manufacturers actually got together and they sort of came to a conclusion that none of their cars would exceed a horsepower limit of 276 bhp. So if you actually put this car on the dyno, this car would be actually producing more than 300 horsepower, but on paper this car would be showing about 276 to 280 horsepower. That's kind of a quick overview of this car. Now, as I said, this is one of its kind in the entire country, and for that the reason is that this is the Skyline GTST. What that means that apart from the 2.5 liter RB25 DET engine, this car doesn't have the four-wheel drive system. Instead, this car is rear-wheel drive only. Of course, it still has the high ACE active four-wheel system, which was the high capacity active steering system. This car still has it. So you have four-wheel steer, but at the same time, it is an only rear-wheel drive car. And this car was actually very popular abroad in countries where people were looking for Skylines to drift, because this was the only configuration of Skyline, the R33, which came with a rear-wheel drive. And that made it actually perfect for drifting. Okay, let me see if I can quickly pop the hood for you. We can have a look at that glorious engine. And look at that interior. Beautiful rear seats. Now, of course, this car was loosely based on the Laurel, and because of that, it kind of has a four-seater layout. It doesn't have a five-seat layout. These seats at the back are pretty much only meant to sit two people. There's a massive hump in the center, so nobody can sit there. But look at the seats. In general, they look so nicely bolstered. Of course, when this car is going through corners with that RB25 pop producing all the horsepower it can, you need a ton of side grip. Now, this is a pretty old car. The original Skyline R33 came to market in 1993, and in 1993 this car was produced from that time all the way up to 1997, and in 1996 the second generation or the facelift of this car, which was called the Spec 2, came into the market. This car over here that you see is the Spec 1. This is actually the first pre-facelift car which has been given a facelift. Now, the only difference between the Spec 2, which is the post-facelift car, and the original one was that the bumper was different and the front headlights were a little different. Apart from that, the rest of the car was pretty much the same. If you come around over here at the back, it has the iconic twin tail lights of the Skyline, which represent this car. No matter which generation you look at post the R31, this is the iconic stance from the rear of the Skyline. Okay, now let me quickly see if I can open the hood for you and show you its beautiful, glorious engine. Look at that. This, I swear to God, is my first time seeing a RB25 right in front of me in its full glory. Now, as you can see, this engine bay has a little bit minor modifications that have been done to it, but most of it, the engine specifically, is completely stock. What we see over here is again a reconfirmation that this is actually a Japan import, which was actually sent to or sold in Australia first, and then from there it was imported back over here in India. Now, the pulley cover you can see over here, this is one of the modifications where the pulley cover has been given a transparent look, and it looks quite nice, especially when that engine is running. It looks super beautiful. Then apart from that, the intercooler is aftermarket, and a little bit of the plumbing, as you can see over here, is aftermarket. But apart from that, the engine, the internals of this car are absolutely bone stock. I'll just try to see if I can turn this car on to show you that beautiful pulley system in action. Okay, quickly having a seat over here inside. Wow, this is an amazing feeling. I am sitting so low. It feels already, before the engine's even started, it feels nice and sporty. It's got a wide, massive cockpit compared to a lot of sports cars. It's actually quite wide because it was based again on a normal sedan. The Skyline actually was a normal sedan. The GTR was the sports car version of it. But over here on the inside, it feels nice and spacious. There's enough space. It's quite wide, while at the same time, the cockpit looks super sexy. It looks so much angled and focused towards the driver. Such a good look. This is the first time I'm sitting in one of these cars, and man, it's a privilege, and especially a privilege to sit in India's only rear-wheel drive R33. Starts up clean. Let's see if we can give it a quick rev. beautiful. Okay, heading for a drive, my first ever in life in a R33. Oh, nice. That is the best sounding straight six, I swear to God. What a lovely sound. Oof. I cannot thank Chandresh enough for this experience. The engine sounds smooth but at the same time angry. It's a beautiful combination, no?
So all this was in order, like everything was in order. but
Okay.
because-
So where do you go to when you have to get parts? Like do you go to Dubai or you go to Thailand?
Once the paint of the car was complete, like
Uh-huh.
when the engine was out and the car was on base, so I flew down to Dubai first to just get the like the tensioners, all the oil seals. Like I dropped the engine down and I changed each and every oil seal,
Uh-huh.
so I don't have any issues with the oil leakage or anything like that. So it was basically type 1.
Uh-huh.
So series 1, it is called a series,
Series
1,
1.
series 2
Right.
and the series 3.
These cars just like even just to drive also these cars are
Yeah, and
so
see, come on,
much
this
fun.
car GTO, they used to race it, and you know when you race, you have a regulation that 200 pieces have to be sold
Correct.
commercially.
Homologation specials.
So they always had this turbo little meters,
Uh-huh.
you know, the boost gauges
Right.
and all those things. Like the required stuff is
Correct.
always there on the car.
Correct. This was a great era, you know, the homologation special
Yes,
era,
yes.
80s and the 90s. Some of the best, most insane cars were born in this time.
So, as of now, I know that I was the only guy, maybe after Karan Shah being a tuner shop and all those things.
Right.
I've had the maximum use in my lifespan.
Well, that was incredible fun. I am feeling so lucky right now that I sat, of course, in an R33 and that too, one of its kind in the entire country. I cannot thank Chandresh enough for this. He's the original JDM fan over here and huge respect goes out to him for what he's doing, what he's been doing and for providing me with this incredible experience. I hope you enjoyed this experience along with me as much as I did. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Till then,